650 guests, soaring temperatures, a first-class picnic, racing waiters, and a moving schedule, all in the name of fashion. It's an event that would push any event organizer to their limits. For one company, this is business as usual. Get backstage with Italian food and fashion as we enter the kitchens of one of Italy's top caterers during one of the busiest weeks of their year. Florence, Italy. Mid-June. Temperatures are soaring. But that doesn't stop 30,000 people turning up for this. Immagine Uomo, held in the historic Fortezza di Basso. It's Europe's #1 event for men's fashion. This year's theme is Wonder Food.
Pitti Immagine Uomo da sempre cerca di...
Pitti Immagine Uomo has always tried to do something appropriate to the Fortezza di Basso, every year. And each time we've tried to identify themes that are current in the world that our event is part of. In this case, nutrition, food, is currently one of the most important issues in the Italian market and the international market.
And one company knows what it takes to tickle even the most discerning of Italian taste buds. Italian kings of catering, Galateo Ricevimenti, are in demand.
Galateo, buonasera.
Salumi, cosa c'è di già pronto di sicuro? Vai ragazzi, vai di qua, via. Passaggio, passaggio. Allora, si passa sotto, vai su, chicken salad. Vai. Quelle che ci può stare le incrociamo. C'è la forchetta per favore.
This is one of the most challenging weeks of their entire year.
Vanno divisi, c'è 2 righe ragazzi, va diviso la roba per 2.
Fatto bene, dammi delle alzatine d'argento.
Sono andati i gatti? Dov'è?
Questo è Martini e quello è Margherita.
In just 5 days, this team will feed over 4,500 people. From small buffets to high-profile cocktail parties. Piece de resistance, perfectly choreographed fashion picnic for 650 people, with an ever-changing schedule. While the fashionistas flock to see the latest and greatest, on the outskirts of the city, Kitchen HQ is cooking up a storm.
Così ne leviamo.
Io te ne infarina e te ne mettere nell'uovo.
This week is the Pitti week. We're doing about 12, 13 events every day, and they go from about 100 people to 700, 800 people per event. So, do the multiplication yourself. It's a whole lot of people.
These people don't come to this restaurant. The restaurant goes to them. And it's not just food that travels. Tables, chairs, glasses, table covers, even ovens and freezers. It's an entirely movable feast.
You could think of catering as a circus if you ask me, because each time we're in a different place, and each time we have to invent everything, really from A to Z. So we have to set everything up. This is serious moving. It's not a restaurant. We're able to transport a whole restaurant to a location, but the hard part is being able to transport it. So each day we have to redo it all from scratch. That's the beauty of always being on the cutting edge, right?
Simone founded Galateo 17 years ago. But today, it's his partner Laura Tassetti who takes the lead.
Queste sono come appoggio. Se ce l'hai nelle modifiche o ce l'hai da qualche altra parte, perché ce l'hanno chiesti ieri. La parte che mi piace di più, quella che mi viene meglio in generale, è
The part I like best in general is creation. Creating an event is the part that's fun for me. I like it, and it's easy for me. Of course, when I give free rein to my imagination, the ideas just flow. What's harder for me is to put on the brakes.
This week, her designer clients have ideas of their own.
With fashion, the problem with fashion is the colors. You could say they always give us a hard time because they want to make the most incredible colors that simply don't exist. And we have to invent it, so we have to make appetizers in the color that's in fashion. We have to make huge leaps, then lots of experimentation to find ingredients that are as close as possible to the color that the art director wants. Colors are a whole drama in themselves. You can only do this kind of work if you have a passion for it, if you really like it. And it is satisfying when an event comes together and comes off well. Otherwise, no one would do it. But it's not just any job. It's a job in which during the winter, when you don't have that much to do, you work on new recipes and new problems. Because unlike the classical restaurant tradition, you have to be able to bring our dishes anywhere. To the middle of a garden, to the middle of a park, to the top of a tower.
The entire kitchen staff is put to the test every day because we're always under pressure from our clients to invent something new. Our priority is always to customize our work for our clients. So it's often the case that we have to experiment and experiment to perfect a dish or to make a plate successful.
And the testing has just hit deadline. The first event of the week. Palazzo Vecchio. Dating back to 1299, this impressive structure is the seat of the mayor and city council. But tonight, the palace is being transformed. In just 3 hours, over 600 people will fill these halls, and they'll head straight to the food table.
Questi tavoli diventeranno rossi. These tables will be red. They choose the colour red for the evening, and everything matches the red table linens.
Fortunately for Chef, tonight's colour stretches only to the decorations. In charge of this evening's gathering,
Should start at 8 p.m, right, Pino? At 8? When are they coming? At 6:30. There's one table for food, one for the beers, and two for the drinks. This setup will take about 3 hours.
just unloading the van takes a good chunk of that time.
Allora, naturalmente il cameriere che si approccia al catering.
Of course, a waiter who wants to work in catering should know that the job is much more tiring than working in a restaurant. Because waiters in restaurants have their tables and chairs in the same place every day, and all they have to do is set the table. In our work, we start from scratch. In fact, you go to the warehouse, load up, the van is delivered and loaded by the people from the warehouse. You arrive at the location, which could be an empty shed or a big villa, a palace. And every event is truly like giving birth, because it starts from scratch.
Mauro is an old hand at this transformation. He's been with Galateo from the start.
La Galateo è nata nel 1900.
Galateo started in 1995, so it's been 17 years because of Simone's strong desire to do it. He had experience as a waiter for another Florentine catering company.
The company's name refers to the art of entertaining.
Quindi lui ha iniziato con un ufficetto di.
So he began with a modest office of 7 square meters in Caldine, which is the town where he was born, where we still live and where his parents live too.
A organizzare piccoli ricevimenti, matrimoni.
He began with small receptions, weddings.
Nei primi anni l'attività
In the early years, the business has really doubled, year after year, in terms of revenue and numbers of events. In Florence, there were not as many caterers as there are now.
And those competitors are always waiting to snap up Galateo's business. No matter what the customer demands, Laura has to make sure everything runs smoothly. And she starts with the right team. Florence doesn't close early for anyone, so at Palazzo Vecchio, Pino and Mauro work around the tourists.
Non per le sue cose. Anni in mezzo per la vita.
Accanto ai buffet praticamente. Poi dopo ci decide. Noi piazziamo il buffet. Prima di vedere, vediamo che il tavolo non stia facendo tanto lontano.
2,5. Spera, io lo farei un pochino dopo, si fa un po' più staccato. Che prima era previsto un bancone proprio da birra. Però un po' più staccato, un po' più qua. Con 3 tubi trasparenti. Invece su questo non vai più.
Bisogna stare attenti a tutto.
We're in the Palazzo Vecchio. First of all, we need to think about all our guests because it's important to be careful, to take care of how the Palazzo Vecchio works and to be sure that our guests don't get hurt.
The crew splits in two. One takes the hall and one the kitchen.
Questo, come vedete, sono il nostro punto, la nostra cucina, dove verrà fatto.
This is our kitchen.
Quando cosa importante, curiamo
We cover everything
i
because it's
posti dove andiamo
important
a
to take care of the
lavorare.
places where we work.
Vedete, c'è un pavimento, noi lo proteggiamo.
As you can see, we've covered the floor to protect it because we cook with oil and stuff like that. Now, there's still some things missing here. We've set up the tables, they'll be covered with wax tarpaulins so that we can work and the chefs can follow the rules. So that everything is clean, and that's all. We'll bring 2 ovens in for cooking hot finger food.
Apro questo oppure lo continuo?
Sì, apri, dai, scendo al passo io.
Dai, perché la viene messo così? Laggiù va.
Ragazzi, si contano questi qui.
Deve entrare 5 cartoni per caso. Vedo, ci vuole 4 passi. Un 10 cartoni per tipo.
The food arrives in bulk containers.
Che altro è la quantità?
The other thing is the quantity, which is quite a lot. All these things here have to be placed on a tray. Finger food garnishes are already in the oven trays, so that we can send them out hot.
With just 60 minutes to opening, a quick change sees the construction crew turn into waiters.
Siamo un team che lavoriamo da
We work from morning to late afternoon to make all the things you see here. One kitchen. The kitchen is not large, but with so many people it becomes small to do all these delicacies.
Just enough time for a quick snack. Then it's all hands on deck.
Avete già visto prosecco, vino bianco, che è un sauvignon, vino rosso, succo d'arancia rossa e succo tropicale. L'acqua e il caffè. Al ring della Ninna ci sono Claudio, Gledio, Zedda, Dorian e Francesco Tarsitano.
Tonight Simone is manning the fort. Guests begin to arrive.
Allora, uno di quelli allora, quello lì si mette e poi per ispirare.
Logistics are important. In terms of logistics, I can say that this evening we're expecting 600 to 700 people. And so it's really important to work out the way people will move around. So for example, the locations of the drink stations, so that one station doesn't get too crowded. So as you can see, there's a station on this side and another on the opposite side. And this is set up so the guests can walk around it and there won't be a traffic jam. It all happens very fast, very fast.
Tuesday morning. All eyes are on the next event. Tomorrow, a 600-year-old Italian palace becomes a fashion arena.
It's very simple to explain how stressful it is. You see, we have to read all the menus, and we have 12 or 13 every day. We have to submit all the orders to our suppliers for each one, all the production lists that you see pinned up there for the work we do here, each team assigned to a service, because each service has a different team. We're here day and night. Let's say the guys get here in the morning at around 7, and I send them home at 8 in the evening. You see, sometimes they haven't finished by that time. It's a long day.
After just a few hours sleep, Pino is busy at another venue. But this time, he's running solo.
Here it is important to coordinate the kitchen, because here at the Fortezza di Basso we have various stands. As you can see, they are not very large. Therefore, our space, the space for catering, is really small.
Small or not, service counts.
Chicken salad. Chicken salad.
Ciao, buongiorno. Buongiorno. Questi sono i sandwich.
These are the sandwiches for this afternoon's
Li
cocktail.
hanno appena imbustati.
They just wrapped and labeled them Tommy Blower cocktail.
Queste sono delle perle briochate. Prepari sandwich?
No, sto preparando una roba per i crostini d'oro e cromo.
Buongiorno, chef.
The first of tonight's events, a cocktail party at the Tommy Hilfiger store. It's not just preparation that goes on around the clock. Someone is doing the cleanup. And cleanup goes beyond the dishes. There's an in-house laundry for all those uniforms and table linens. The company's storerooms are like an Aladdin's cave.
Qui c'è una parte di magazzinaggio bicchieri.
This part of the storeroom here has all the glasses and thermally insulated ice boxes, white boxes for the food, and then accessories, some ovens, baskets, vases for special decorative ensembles.
Outside, the team loads up for the second of the night's events. An elaborate party for fashion designer Peter Palotto at the Palazzo Borghese. The event starts at 9 p.m, but when you're navigating the Florence traffic, it's wise to leave early. It's men's fashion week, but this designer is sneaking in his female collection. It's a clash of modernity and tradition. a theme running through the entire evening. Timing is the challenge tonight. Once the doors open, guests are offered a selection of savoury treats in the ballroom before moving on to the fashion show. That gives the team just 10 minutes to switch the savoury for the sweet. At least, that's the plan.
Lo stilista ha richiesto, in contrasto con la sua collezione,
the art director has requested, in contrast with his own collection, that we insert this in a very classic setting. So from the several locations that we suggested, he chose this palace, the Palazzo Borghese, which is rich, overloaded and baroque, which lends itself well to creating the contrast with the modernity of his work. So we're using large silver pieces, cake stands, cut glass, antique glasses, gold chandeliers. It should all seem as though this were a house, and so a Tuscan buffet.
Mi avanti la torta della notte?
Anything can go wrong at an event like this. But no one expected the weather to add its own twist. 600-year-old Italian palaces are not known for their state-of-the-art air conditioning. But there's a backup plan. Frozen drinks. The temporary kitchen at Palazzo Borghese is given away only by the stream of waiters delivering tonight's feast. The cream of Italian fashion begins to stream in, and once again, Laura has her eye on numbers. Within minutes, the buffet is hidden behind the crowds, turning restocking and clearing into an obstacle course. It's almost time to switch to dessert.
We have to do it very fast, taking advantage of the fact that for these 10 minutes the guests will all be watching the runway show. So we'll have the room partially empty and we can do this task of clearing up and setting up almost undisturbed.
The stage is set. The models are ready. But not everyone is moving. This room is larger and cooler.
Qui è disallestito?
Sì, ora infatti appena si è messo un po' impari con questo non l'ha tagliato dolci.
No, impari con questo non si può mettere perché questo va avanti ora fino a notte, quindi bisogna che scopriamo Marco e ti dai dolci.
It's time to play the cocktail card.
Sembrava semplice mettere I due colori.
It seems simple to put the two colors in the glasses, but the art director doesn't want them horizontal, he wants them vertical. Certainly. And so now we'll try to assemble the two colors vertically.
Dove sono le cannucce? Lo sai, Gabri? Così vi aiuto.
Marco, hai visto come faccio? Va bene, no?
Però bisognerebbe che voi vi attendate 18, perché una guantiera esce tutte e tre le...
Deve uscire mista?
Sì.
Va bene.
Qui ci deve essere verde, rosso, blu, verde, rosso. Bene, margherita.
The cocktail diversion gives the waiters some space to load up that dessert. By the time this day is over, Laura and her team have pulled off 2 more successful shows. But the week isn't over yet. Tomorrow is the most demanding event of all. And getting it right is crucial. A catering company's reputation and business rests on their last event. On the outskirts of Florence, a local sports field, the Velodromo, is hosting a high-fashion picnic.
Manco la magliettina, Giuseppe, maglietta.
It's a big project. So Laura and Simone double up.
Allora, stasera qua diventerà cena.
So, this evening there will be dinner served at table for 650 people here. Now we're unloading the vans from our warehouse with all the material that we're going to use for the dining room. Later, around 4, on another field back here by the tennis club, we'll bring in the kitchen and set it up. But what's arriving here now is just our inventory. So that's tables, chairs, placemats, plates, glasses, cutlery, tablecloths, everything that we need to set up.
Tutto il mood di stasera è come se lo stilista
The whole mood for tonight is as if the art director wanted it to be as if a group of friends or neighbors made a plan at 7 for 8 o'clock. Let's have dinner together. So one brings the chairs, another gets the tomatoes from his fridge, someone else brings cheese, bread. If they're missing glasses, they take them from the nearest house. And so the whole setup has been arranged according to this concept of sheer madness.
The customer is French design house, Carven. The plan. Guests arrive at 7. Dinner at 8. Followed by the entertainment. Racing waiters. A fashion show and a marching band. But throw in last-minute changes in schedule. A kitchen based a hike away from the tables. And freak weather. And Laura's skills are tested to the max.
Vieni, ci sono le prove.
Quelli che si vedono al centro. Poi alcuni li possiamo nascondere dietro la quinta là.
Lì ci possiamo fare qualche sbarazzo.
Sì, certo, e tanto ci vede nessuno. Sì. E lì. Sì, scusa Elisa.
First hurdle. Temperatures are already touching the high 30s, and there's no shade.
First,
I would say to overcome the heat. You've seen all the guys in the heat with the sprinkles and hats, so I guess the heat for sure. This is the hottest day of the year.
The solution? Primitive mobile air conditioning. The mobile restaurant convoy streams in. Some of these tables are headed for tonight's temporary kitchen. Hurdle 2. The kitchen is a brisk 5-minute hike from the main field. The food arrives at 4 p.m. But the chefs are not sitting back at HQ with nothing to do.
In cucina adesso stanno preparando tutto perché io qui ho una cucina abbastanza piccola.
In the kitchen they're preparing everything now because I have quite a small kitchen here. So I will receive some things already more or less prepared and I only have to put them on trays here. But these trays will be rather demanding because on each table for 8 to 10 people we will have 11 food trays, and so we have to find room on the tables for all these trays. Some tables are for 8, some for 10, some for 18, some for 22. And on the larger ones there will be more, but the smaller tables will have 11 trays on them. So at some point I'll have stacks of trays in the kitchen, maybe 800 to 1,000 trays, all ready to be brought out here to the tables.
On the field, temperatures and tempers heat up. Those racing waiters have started their rehearsals earlier than scheduled. And the tables are in the way.
Vuoi mettere il prosciutto sul pallino? Bravo.
Allora, qui dopo di questo basta, poggialo lì, poggialo su. Che voglio proprio. Dai consiglio, ci siamo andati a vedere le cucine, che vedere un po'. Prima andiamo a piedi e poi ci vado per. Vai, così dici come fare le cucine, sì o no? È già visto tutto. Tu eri, sì.
In teoria loro vorrebbero poter fare le prove liberamente.
In theory, they would have liked to rehearse freely without us in their way from 3 o'clock on. But they're aware now, because we had a meeting the other day, that this isn't possible. And that we have 40 waiters, we're under the sun, we have no natural shade, and preparing for 650 people takes time. So we will have to share the space happily, we with our setup and they with their rehearsals.
But Laura has more on her mind than rehearsing waiters. Four hours to deadline. The kitchen arrives.
Questo è lo schema mio. A te ti do questo, guarda.
No, guarda, a me inizia a succare le parole.
Farro, basta, farro.
Lei la pazzella?
L'acqua dov'è che l'hai messo?
Mettiti a fare questo. Questa qui è la cosa, le mozzarelline. Ce ne va 33 in ognuno ne devi fare 70. Se le trovi questo 70? 33 ne devi fare 70. Quante mozzarelle ci vanno? 33 e 70. Con pochissima acqua, poi le metti nelle cassette bianche, bacinelle, va bene? Poi oggi al momento dobbiamo fare tutte quelle che
Today, right now, what we have to do is prepare all the types of cheese, the sauces for the pasta, the assembly of all these dishes so that they can come out as fresh as possible.
In modo tale che risultino i più freschi possibili. Il difficile di oggi è che 700 persone.
The hardest thing about today is that 700 people, all 700 people, will have mini buffets on their tables, and consequently, we will have to bring out nearly 70 mini buffets.
When you're working with the top of the fashion league, detail matters.
We make quiche, of course, for 700 people, so I do not say on an industrial scale, but in short, 100 quiche. But surely they must look homemade with the edge done, surely in the traditional way, and therefore with the parchment paper a little bit burnt, as if the lady of the house burnt it a little.
1 hour to deadline.
Cosa c'è lì? Ah, perfetto.
Tutta questa roba.
Tra un'ora abbiamo uno in più,
Bene, infatti.
Sì, no, Stefano lo sapeva. Guarda, non sarà più fra un'ora in più.
Va bene, va bene.
Just enough time for the staff to grab a short rest and a quick bite. Or so they thought. Once again, plans have changed. Guests arrive at the Carven event in Florence's Velodromo for an opening cocktail. But instead of lingering over their pre-dinner drinks, they head to the tables, before schedule.
Attenzione.
That means 43 tables seating 650 people have to be ready before guests can reach their seats.
Non abbiate paura, avanti cavalli.
Forchetta Giovanni!
Niente paura, niente paura.
Vai, vai!
Passaggio, passaggio.
Dove si passa?
Forget the staged waiters race. This is for real. And so are the consequences. Getting it wrong means risking the business.
Uno quello piccolo, due quello grande.
Quelli ragazzi, via quelli. C'è la forchetta per favore. Vai, guarda venire ti spiego. Giovanni, sì? Devo andare fuori io. Mandamene fuori, io sto ti spiego a portarle di te.
Allora si passa sotto, vai su.
Il polpo,
As the guests stream onto the field, it's a battle to the finish line.
Qua ragazzi, qua!
Mettilo preso chiuso.
Qua,
With the food on the tables, the waiters look forward to a more relaxed continuation of the evening. But mid-service, Galateo servers are joined by the designers racing waiters, then models, and an accompanying brass band. The entertainment has started early. With all the surprises out of the bag, the team continues the night in peace. And in spite of the hurdles, this event is a huge success. It's been a highly charged week of high-profile events. But the Galateo team passes the test of Pitti Immagine Uno, proving that they really are kings of catering.